G'day viewers, it's Wednesday the 3rd of May 2023 and here's our video on what's happening in the goat shed in May. A fair bit happening, isn't there, Graham?
Oh, it's all happening here, mate. Yep.
So those of you that follow us on Facebook will have noticed yesterday that we had to put up a very sad topic. Spanky was attacked by a wild dog and he was subsequently seriously injured. Here he is. Now this is not for the faint-hearted at all, so if blood and gore offends, look away now, please. There he is. He's been decapitated, lost feet, legs, limbs, but we managed to save his bow tie and his heart and his bell.
Which is the main thing.
It is.
Yeah.
So we're taking him to the vet when?
Probably this afternoon. He wanted to sleep in this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we went out on a service call and unfortunately the owner's dog got at him. And yeah, he's a bit of a mess. So we do have a reserve goat, but both Skanky and Reg are over there. You can just see Reg, I think he's out of shot a bit there at the moment. He's devastated. But anyway, these things happen. Poor Spank, he's a well-travelled goat.
Yeah.
He's been to the USA twice. We'll have to get a new mugshot of him made. Alright, so we've got a fair bit happening here at present. May has come round a lot quicker than we realised, and on Monday we had another Gottlieb high hand come in.
As you do.
Which we see a lot of those. Yesterday a solar ride came in. It's had 2-pack paint put on it and it's going to be stencil, but the owner's going to do pretty well all of that. Today we've got a nice sunny day. It's a bit cold at the moment, and I failed to mention it's 14 degrees Celsius here this morning, which is around about 51 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. So it's cool, but it's not cold. So next month is the first of the month is the winter. Now, interestingly enough, when we went on this job yesterday, we had a look at the guy's Big Indian. Now, this is a machine that we repaired back in February, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wreck.
It sure was. And the guy rang up and said there was a problem. Well, he actually came to our training course on Saturday, so that's another thing. We had a training course last Saturday. For 3 students showed up, and we normally like to have 5 people, but you know, we just couldn't make 5 this time. One guy was going to come, but unfortunately he's taken ill, so he couldn't show up. But the training course went very well. Probably with the 3 students, they were able to get a closer look at everything, and
Very well behaved.
Yeah, they were well behaved. So, one of the things that happened at this training, at the training course, was one of the guy that owned the Big Indian just mentioned that, just last week it stopped working. The score reel's all reset to 0, but it still sounds like it's trying to reset.
And the bonus unit just kept going on and on and on.
Yeah, so we said, okay, and you know, obviously he's just a fresh student, so we thought we'd do the right thing and go round to his house and have a look. Now, the great thing about this guy's house is he lives right next door to a pub. How cool's that? I'm glad I don't. What about you, Graham?
Yeah, it'd be a worry, I tell you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be much pinball work going on.
Yeah, so there we go. So what we found on this guy's player unit, I'm going to show you. Here we go. The player unit, we heard this click, click, click in the back. what had actually happened, this is just an old player unit, this isn't his, this spring had broken. The loop had broken right across the top, just there. Never seen that before. And subsequently the reset arm was just flopping around. So we replaced that and away the machine went. But then we noticed that the ball wasn't kicking out. So we went straight to the bonus unit because we noticed the bonus unit was having trouble as well. Well, it wasn't having trouble. The switch, the 0 position switch, was just touching. And that's that make-break switch that the white arm rests against when the bonus is counted to 0.
Yep.
So,
and that gives power to the out-hole relay.
That's right, and it wouldn't reset. Okay, and then he just mentioned, occasionally I'm having some trouble with the drop targets, and they're not resetting properly. So it's a 5-bank drop target unit in that. So what we did, we adjusted the travel on the with the screws here. This is a beauty. This has only got one screw in it. We adjusted the travel to give it more travel because it could have done with a bit more. And then we tested it, but it still wasn't working.
A little bit better, but not great.
Yeah, 100%. So that's not good enough. We preferred it to work a lot better. And we couldn't get any more adjustment on it. We even adjusted the screws, the rest screws at the top, but this one hasn't got any because we took them out.
Yeah.
But what we ended up finding was there was too much play, or wear I should say, in this part here. So Graham's going to illustrate what's the matter with that. In other words...
So he's always supposed to have a bit of slop, but this one was terrible. This is probably about 5 mil more, or 1/4 of an inch. And it was just flopping around, so we're going to take this one out, clean it up, and probably replace the plunger and the roll pin. And see what happens, but it's got to be better than the one that was in it, so we'll try that. And other than that, the triggers on it seem probably better than these ones. So the triggers were okay on it, so it's pretty well. The only other thing we can do is try to get more stroke on it by somehow doing something with the holes. But we don't want to do that.
Remember, the triggers get wear on the bottom here, where the actual reset bar. This one's got a touch. But that's nothing. Some of them you see really worn out, like with a really big sort of circle in them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have to take that out and change that over. Normally we wouldn't go in the field and do field work, but like I said, we only repaired this a little while back for the guy, and we felt obligated to try and help him out because he's got it upstairs, and
he's only local. Plus he lives next door to a pub.
Plus he lives next door to a pub, so that was real good. So, we've done that. Now, the other things that we've got to do is, or the other things that are going to happen, we had a guy call us, it was last year, and he's from the state of Victoria, which is the state immediately below us here in New South Wales. So he's around 700 to 800 kilometres away. He's actually got a super rare machine that's not going, and he wants us to get going. And we've asked him to send that up to us in the middle of this month to give us a bit of breathing space. And that game is a Bally Slapstick from 1975, and there were only 85 made. Now, it's got those flags on it like
flip-flop.
Flip-flop.
Yeah. It's, I think the same playfield as flip-flop, isn't it?
I'm not sure. Didn't we look that up the other day?
We'll have another look.
Yeah, so it could be the same playfield as flip-flop. It's a single-player game. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if the owner even realises it's a rare one, but yeah, it is. And he's also got a Gottlieb jet spin from 77.
It's another great game.
Yeah, so jet spin, as everyone knows, has got everything. It's got Vera targets. It's a bit like Big Indian, Graham.
Only thing it hasn't got is drop targets.
That's right. Oh, yeah, it hasn't got drop targets.
I remember years ago in one of the magazines, this is going back to about early 2000s, but some guy actually put a bank of 5 drop targets up in the far left-hand corner at the top. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that was a good mod that he done.
Okay. Yeah, gee. Well, that is good. So yeah, so we got those coming up. So we've still got plenty to do. Gee, we haven't even got around to our whirly bird. I mean, the cabinet was finished off of that in 2021.
Yeah, but I think once the front shed gets done up, it's going to be a lot better to work on, where a lot of things are out of the way.
Yeah, now, talk about that front shed. We've shown you before, but we've been in a bit of a construction mode here, if you'd like, over the last month or so.
Yeah.
We've had new lights fitted in both the front and back shed. So there's new LED lights. Let's see if we can show you those without getting LED'd out. There you go, there's a whole bank of those gone in. They're those recessed ones. And we had new power points put in. Well, we've never had power points in the front shed. We've had those put in.
3 double power points.
Yeah, and we're going to have a bench built out there. I think we mentioned this before, so we can also work out there. A bench wide enough to be able to work on step units and stuff like that. When we've got the cradle on this bench here, which is out in the back shed, that's the cradle for the playfield. There's really no room to work, so that's going to be a bit of a bonus for us. But like everything, it all costs money, and there's a fair bit of money being thrown into both sheds at the moment, so we can be more efficient, hopefully. Now, just want to show you something else. So here's a front door for the other high hand that we've been working on. We've recently received this front door. It was bought. It's quite interesting. It's chromed, but in the middle it's super shiny chrome, as you can see, where the D. Gottlieb sign is, and the outside of it, where the indentation isn't, is sort of a duller chrome. I'm not sure how they achieved that. I've not sort of seen that before.
Very effective.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's been fitted with a new flap on the coin entrance there.
Yep.
But the back of it was slightly different. So there it is there. What we did, we took the whole thing apart, as you do, and we had to soak stuff in vinegar. It was all rusty. And we soaked it over about maybe 24 or 48 hours and took it out and a couple of times and hosed it off and give it a clean with a soft brush and the wire brush. And then everything was buffed on the soft buffing wheel, was it, Graham?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's hard buffing wheels and soft buffing wheels. What do we normally use the hard wheel for?
Probably more for indentations and probably surface rust. But if the rust is too heavy, you can't buff rust. So you've got to soak it the best you can and maybe hit it with the, 1500 wet and dry, just to get the major bits of rust off it. And then you hit it with the hard buff, and that'll get it right off the rust, take most of it off, and then hit on the soft buff, and that gives it that nice polish.
Yeah, all right. Well, you can see the results here. Yeah. I think everyone will agree that looks pretty good. So we've even, this was really rusty. That's that bit of metal that sits on the back of the switch stack there.
And the fly paper was missing, so we had to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the fish paper was. Well, yeah, it was. So we had to put one on. It's had a new replay button and
coin return buttons.
Coin return buttons were put on. We pulled all the coin mechs apart, and this particular one, it's got coin mechs. But the owner of this wants it on coin. Now, let me tell you, this is a fairly rare request. We don't get this too often. But what we had to do, all the wiring loom, what someone had done, they'd taken a wire and run it from the switch and ran it across onto the replay button. And they'd joins the common, and they've done all sorts of weird and wonderful things. We removed all that, and we took the whole wiring harness out, and we soaked it we cleaned it in warm water. So we gave it a bath, and we let it sit out in the sun for a couple of days and dried it off.
It's not great, but it's a lot better.
Yeah, it's a lot better than it was. Like, you can still see a few marks on this plastic.
But we could sort of pick up the wire colours.
Probably try and do that. We picked up the wire colours. So
that's your coin lockout.
Yeah, that's your this stuff here. What someone's done, they've soldered this tab onto the old coin lockout wires. The coin lockout coil was burnt out,
which and
part of the mechanism was missing. We're not going to put that back together. We're just going to isolate it. We're just going to isolate that. But here's your wires for your coin entrance. We'll fit those up, and yeah, away we go.
Oh, we had to repair them too. They were bad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's a bit hard to see, but let's try and oh, there you go. I think. Hang on, I'll just zoom that in there. There you go. There's the heat shrink we've used. They were bare wires. They would have been touching each other. So you would have had a bit of a problem there. We cleaned all this plastic up. So yeah, it's come up pretty good. Now the other thing that we found on this one, I'm going to show you the whole machine in just a moment. So here's the parts from the high hand we got in on Monday. That's where the parts where the playfield glass slides in. Now, notice on this particular one here, it's all rusty. Sometimes there's little holes drilled in here where a couple of rubber grommets go, but this one doesn't have that. But one trick is a lot of people probably forget about. Look at the other side. It's pretty good. I mean, if we were to polish that up,
it'll look
quite nice. And we're going to use that side. But
the front's good. That'll polish up pretty good. It's just a bad bit of rust there, but now we won't see that because it's going to be under like that.
Yeah, so here's the actual other bit of it. Now, it doesn't look real good, but once again, there's nothing we can do about that. That's rusted, is raised rust, so we're just talking about that a minute ago. We're going to put that in vinegar as well. What we're going to do is soak it, clean it off with a wire brush, and then we'll polish it.
And soak it again.
And soak it again, and then give it the auto sol treatment and see what it looks like.
But that surface rust is how the whole side rails are as well.
So. Yeah, so let's have a look at the side rails now. They're not real good either. So with the side rails, what we're hoping to do is we've got a lot of side rails here, so we'll pick a better set and put them on. So you can see the side rails, they look very much like that other part we just showed you a moment ago. Okay, so we've stripped the playfield down. The inserts aren't all the best, but we'll do what we can with it. The pop bumper body and the cap are okay, which is good. So now it's got these stickers on it. Now, all right, the original factory stickers there, but this one here, this is interesting. Victoria Police Permit. Now, we do have a state of Victoria in Australia here, but I just wonder, I think there's a Victoria in Canada. I'm not sure if there's one in the USA, because this machine does have a step-down transformer fitted to it. So it's not, which puzzles us a bit, because normally most of these machines that came to Australia were made for Australia back in '73. Anyway, that's just one thing that we noticed. So we've got that to do. And there's a lot of parts got to be ordered. We're gonna take a tray off it, and we've still got a couple of stickers. We'll do for that. That should
we'll do the timber.
Yeah. So we normally take the timber off and do
sand it back and restain it.
Yeah. Put the stain on it.
And the lane guides, we're going to take them off and give them a holy buff.
The metal lane guides, and we're going to order a pile of new playfield posts, about 30 odd, and lane guide plastics. There's only 4 of them.
And probably drop targets.
Yeah, and the guy might get drop targets because some of the paint on them is a little bit.
But the plastics are going to stay original.
Bit wary.
But the plastics are not too bad. But
This one here's broken, and we'll have a look and see if we've got another one, but
I'm pretty confident we have.
yeah, we should have one. So yeah, we've got all that to do.
But the front is very, very bad.
Have a look at the front door.
It's very bad.
So it's not real good, so we'll probably end up hammer toning that.
And new coin entrance runners too, the whole thing. New 20-cent lights.
Yeah.
And we're either going to paint the legs or he's going to get new legs, we're not sure.
Yeah, we don't know yet. So there's another little high-hand project we've got on the go. So it's all happening here in the goat shed at the moment.
Yeah, okay. Right, so this is the target pool cabinet here that I think I finished it last week. That the day looks pretty good today. A little bit of wind coming up, so hopefully if it stays this way I can get to put the clear coat on. So if we get the clear coat on today, we can start wet rubbing it tomorrow and hopefully start putting it back together maybe Saturday. And underneath that we've got Solaride, an EM Solaride head that just come back, which has been, by the look of it, 2-pack, which is very nice. And there's the cabinet there, beautiful condition. It's just been to the carpenters and resprayed, and I think either the carpenter or the owner's going to stencil it, we're not sure. But this machine's going to look very nice. I think he's getting the playfield done up as well. But this machine will have all new parts. And underneath all that stuff there with the target pool, we've got a quick draw, which is halfway through being painted as well. We've done the red, and we've done the red and the blue on the one side of the head. And so I've just got a little bit of work to do. I've got to finish that side and both blue sides on the cabinet, and then that'll be ready to clear coat as well. Right, and so up top we've got double power points installed not long ago. So we've got 3 of them. We've got one there up the back there, and one above Kim, and then we've got one over here. This is where the bench is going to be. So we've installed that, so the bench height's going to be roughly here, I think. So we can work on it pretty well, standing up on the fly, and so we don't have to keep sitting up and getting parts. And so it's going to be I think roughly maybe 4 or 5 foot long. And once we get that in, we can do something with this wall and probably cover it, and so we can install parts, put parts up there, and we're going to actually get another fluoro underneath here as well, one of the original ones that are behind us, and they're LEDs, same as these ones, but it's just an extra bit of backup because it does get dark in here. But when working down here at night time, it's great. The lighting is perfect. And so behind all that is all the storage there, but we're going to get new cabinets and whatever, hopefully, and rip all that out and make this machine. The plan of the whole thing is to have this whole thing open and just have 2 or 3 machines on legs restoring at the same time. So that's the whole plan. And in the back shed we'll just do machines that are more complex, and so we can work as we go, and so this will be the restoration area, and sometimes maybe painting if the winds is too bad, because we usually paint out the backyard, which is not a problem. But in some cases you just got to get out of the weather and do it, and so we're going to go probably full on into restorations like we do, because we're only doing probably 3 or 4 a year, but we have to get that up a bit more, because I think we've got about 4 or 5 restorations already this year that we've got on the go. We've done Bowling Queen, well, that was finished. Target pool's near done. We've got the fast draw, this one, and Solaride. Oh, and the never ends, like just never ends, which is great.
Okay, so as you can see, we've got plenty happening here in the goat shed. Alright, well, that's about it from us today. Unfortunately, we can't show you Spanky, as all the other goats are in mourning. So, all that aside, this has been another goat shed presentation.